The first thing we want to do is give a fan shout out to Kim. Kim has been watching the games on Twitch and has been enjoying them thoroughly. And she has something to say about what she's loved about the SUNY Chancellor Esports Challenge.
Video games are a great way for me to relax and unwind at the end of a stressful day. Watching the Chancellor's Esports Challenge is a great way to watch some fun, exciting content and to see all the hard work that students across the SUNY system are putting in. Good luck, gamers.
Well, we have a special guest tonight, Daniel Robertson, joining us because he decided to start an esports program.
Danny, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And speaking with you earlier, it was just fantastic to hear what a whirlwind 2 weeks it's been at Westchester for you and your esports students. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about it. You were talking about you got a call on Wednesday and the deadline was Friday to enter a team. And 2 weeks later, it's been a whirlwind and you've got almost 50 students wanting to play esports at your school.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, we like you said, we found out Wednesday that this tournament was happening, and so very short notice. It was close to close of business, and then my boss basically said to me, "Can you get something going for this?" And so to me, I'm just, yeah, I'm gonna try. And I got in there, and on our Discord, which I had luckily already created, we had probably about 20 people or so at the time, and this one student just says, I'll try, you know, I'm not that great. And so my response was immediately like, thank you. You know, your participation is worth so much more than skill at this point when we're just trying to get going. And then, you know, like I was saying before, we got the role created for tournament competitor on the Discord. And then that just set everyone off. You know, people were like, I want that. I want to be this. I want to be in that spotlight.
Absolutely. So what was it about the tournament where that pivoting point was that you realized, you know what, this is validating what I'd been thinking. We definitely want to commit to starting an esports program.
So we've been trying, I say we, the athletics department as a whole has been trying to get esports for, you know, well over a year at least. And there's just been, it's been a crawl, you know, slow crawl, just trying to say, hey, there's interest and the students want it. And we have been finding various ways to show that. And the upper administration was slowly getting on board. But I mean, once this, you know, unfortunately coronavirus hit, everyone's stuck at home. And now esports is all there is. These students don't have other sports to play. They don't have other things. And they're coming in droves to this Discord that, you know, luckily has been blowing up, which I'm loving. And so now we're sitting here and my boss is like taking this and he, you know, I can't take the credit. He really took this and said, okay, let's push this, you know, now esports can really be a thing, you know? And so he is actually really went up and talked to the higher ups and got the whole ball rolling. And, you know, it was just a really great start that, like, you know, you were saying earlier, it's skyrocketed.
You need to have a champion and you wouldn't necessarily think that that's not one of the first two priorities you need when starting an esports program, but I can't say that any better than Randy. So Randy, what was it like for you whenever you were trying to start your esports program at SUNY Canton?
Well, I've really enjoyed listening to Danny speak because the similarities to how he did his program over the last couple of weeks are nearly identical to how we did at SUNY Canton. And as you know, some schools will house their esports teams in athletics, some in student affairs, and that's about 40% athletics, 40% student affairs, and 20% in other areas, sometimes IT in other areas of the school. But the real interesting thing for me is Danny is also in the athletic department at his school, just like I am at SUNY Canton. And so there's so many similarities. One thing I think that athletics does really well is we find coaches, we put teams together, we find places to compete, and we let the students go. And that's exactly what Danny's done. And so it's really a lot of fun to hear him speak. And we are, I'd like to say we're amazed at how quickly it's come together, but it came together that quickly for us almost. We were amazed when it happened to us. And I just love to hear stories that are so similar at your school, Danny, because I'm sure for you, you're looking back going, was it really just less than 2 weeks ago where we put the call out?
Totally, 100%. It's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, I think it's neat that your athletic department has really embraced that. And for us, That's where it's been one of the keys to success at SUNY Canton, as well as that we've had great support from our administrators, and the athletic department kind of knows how to put students together and compete on teams. And not to oversimplify it, but that's really it. And sometimes you just gotta jump in and let it go. The thing that I've found is that students will take over for you, you know, like, and I'm sure you found the same thing. You found a couple of key students and then let them go.
Absolutely. I've got, you know, right here sitting next to me a spreadsheet just so I know who's interested in what different sports or esports and, you know, the different games. It's just so much amazing information coming in like crazy.
One thing, Danny, that we've been discussing, not to put you on the spot here, but we'd love to have you consider hopping on board, is we've been discussing the potential of a SUNY League after this tournament. So it might take a little while. It might take the summer to put together, and maybe we begin it this fall, but we'd love for you to consider that. I think that this tournament's been pretty special and has shown all the SUNY schools really that we can compete with each other and have a terrific time. So it might be something that you and your school could consider.
Absolutely. Yeah, I already know. I don't even have to talk to anybody. I guarantee that'd be something we're interested in 100%.
And we have similar teams as well. Like you had mentioned previously, you've got a group of students that are interested in playing League of Legends and Overwatch and a couple of other games that are considered the most popular anyway for esports teams. And I think we'd find that all around SUNY.
Yep. Agreed.
All right. Well, there you have it. There's potential and rumor for a SUNY Esports League potentially. So any other schools out there that are participating in the tournament, definitely don't be afraid to speak up and let us know if you want a SUNY Esports League in the fall. Now, speaking of Elimination Week and all of the players that have been dropping like flies since day one of Elimination Week, I think it was something like 67 teams that were that came to the end of their tournament as of yesterday at the end of the matches. So there's an intense week happening, and I really want to hear from you, Charlie. What's the brackets look like? What kind of week do you think we're going to have? Are we going to be surprised by the end of it?
So the brackets this week are looking pretty serious. So this is about the stage in a traditional esports tournament where it gets hyper competitive. You start having a lot of the big colleges and large traditionalized programs really coming out ahead and showing that they have been preparing this for a much longer time. Now we did have, and Zach can speak to this a little bit more, but we did have some seed upsets that were pretty interesting to see.
Zach, what were those seed upsets that Charlie's speaking of here? Can you break it down for me?
Yeah, like Charlie said, by and large, the teams that we expected to win did, with the exception of there was 4 pretty big upsets. Platte State's Fortnite team, number 25 overall seed, knocked off Tompkins Cortland Fortnite team 3-1. They were the 8th seed. So that's a top 10 seed out. Rocket League, we had SUNY's Purchases team knocked off SUNY Erie. That was a 22 over an 11. Smash is where we saw 2 kind of really big ones. You know, those were fairly close, but in Smash we had a 53 over a 12. Wow. So SUNY Poly, one of their players, actually 3-0 over the number 12 seed from SUNY Downstate. That was the biggest upset. The number 53 seed is the lowest seed left in any of the tournaments.
Well, Alec, Justin, can you help me make sense of what's been going on throughout the week? So, you know, just talked to Charlie, 67 teams were dropped yesterday. There's a lot of seed upsets from Zach talking to us about the brackets that are on LeagueSpot. What about what you guys been seeing as Shoutcaster? You've been, you know, doing all the post-match recap for us, and there's been a lot of exciting activity, particularly your talk of the rise of legends as we go through Elimination Week. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely seeing a lot of very strong competitors during this tournament. SUNY Purchases Petrikov and SUNY Canton's Anna Marantha being the top 2. They're showing a lot of mastery on their characters that I've been saying, you know, for through the duration of the pool stage and the first day of elimination. So we're definitely going to have a lot of great competition coming up in the next couple of days.
Justin, you talk about your favorite player highlight attribute. You know, really came from Pearl. Yeah. You said that he was just instinctual, right? In his playing and his responses. And so it sounds like to you, it's that instinctual reaction that's just consistent, always on par, that makes an esports player truly great. But Alec, you were talking about the composure that Mikey had. And I thought that was really impressive too, because when you can stay calm under pressure, when you have to make split-second decisions, you know, I think it's a combination of the instinct that gives you the calmness to be able to execute because it is so embedded within you. How do you get to a level as a player that you are just as instinctual as you are calm?
Yeah, so the funny thing you asked that question. My friend, who's also in college right now, he's also a very, very good Smash player. He was actually doing a paper on what's called flow state. And flow state is when you combine the instinctualness and the calmness and you bring it together. When you're playing a game, you don't think. You should be able to stop thinking at that competitive level where it becomes habitual, right? So now you're making decisions based off of reactions. So you're reacting, and then those decisions come from that muscle memory. That muscle memory gives you that power. And that's like more specifically for Smash Brothers. But when it comes to teamwork games like Fortnite and Rocket League, that communication should come naturally too, where you're able to consistently get short-term call-outs out, or you're able to understand a lot of information being processed not only from you, but enemy teams approaching you as well. So it's that flow state that really helps the players evolve and become calm and instinctual.
That's so cool. I've been loving, you know, listening and learning about how their strategy works in the games and what's really creating those legends that you guys keep talking about each week. Let's see if some of those legends disappoint or if some take it exactly where we think it will. Well, I think that's about all the Rise of Legends I can handle for one post-match recap on Esports Center today. We'll keep finding the story behind the avatar and give you an update next time on Esports Center.